Welcome to the Process Podcast.
From new agent to broker owner.
My name is Travis McClure. This is my co-host, Preston Guyton. Welcome to the Process Podcast. This is Travis McClure and my co-host, Preston Guyton. How's it going, Preston?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Good to have you back in town. Just got back a little bit ago from conference out in Las Vegas. Tell us about that. Where were you?
Yeah, so I went to the Sales Mastery course, Agent Academy. Bill Pipes, John Cheplack, Dan Beer. It was in Vegas. We stayed at Red Rock. It was an amazing event. It was really, it was one of it. I heard so many times, and I think I posted it this morning on Facebook. I don't know how many times I heard that this was the best event ever, from agents that were there and from people that were there. So it was definitely an event that we'll go back to. They're going to do one in the fall. Not sure of the date yet, but I think it's going to be in Orlando. So we're going to load up a bus and bring some agents there.
I have heard that feedback. I didn't go to the event, of course. I stayed here, held down the fort, as they say. I didn't go to the event either, but I've seen that on social media. Agents in our office that have come back says the best professional development conference they've ever been to. What made it so great? Like, why are we hearing that kind of feedback about this event?
Yeah, I mean, you look at any event that I've been to, right? And it's 3 days. So, you're taking a lot in. It's long days. They're not, it's not, 9 o'clock to 2 or 3. It's
right.
8:30. I think we got started 8:30 every day. It was until 5, roughly, some days a little bit longer. And, on the third day, like everybody was still in it. Like there was nobody standing around and, where there was less motivation. I mean, there was a ton of motivation in that room, and people in general didn't slow down. They kept after it. So it was, I think that was a big thing for me. And then seeing, Bill Pipes in his element to hold a room that long and keep people that focused and, in what he's training and in what they're doing was special to see for sure.
It seemed kind of cool too, just looking at the format of the conference and talking to some agents that came back from it. I've been to a ton of real estate conferences where it's like you jump from this class to this class and you kind of a la carte choose what you're going to go to. This was like very focused on specific stuff happening in the market, what to say, dialogue, things like that. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, it was, about your real estate business from scripts to dialogues to listings to all those things. And you were in the same room the whole time. So you're right. It's usually in a 3-day conference, it's usually like the breakout rooms here, or a different training here, but he led the whole thing for 20 plus hours nonstop.
I think what's interesting too, I think a lot of times agents are always looking for like the magic bullet or the shiny, object to add to their business. But this, I felt like just talking to agents, it was a lot of basics, like just what to say in the current real estate market really was the main focus of it, no?
Yeah, it was. I mean, going over scripts and rehearsing and going through and doing the work. And, from leadership to agents, everybody there was involved. It was kind of crazy to see, like, everybody standing up in this one big room, going over scripts and role playing together as a group. And then Bill's walking around on stage and see somebody sitting down in the crowd and just calls them out because if you're that good, I'm going to pull you up on stage. So they got up again and started reading their scripts and role playing. So it was pretty amazing to see him, the way he controlled the room and kept everybody involved. It was crazy. It was great to see that and, see so many agents and so many leaders, being active in the middle of it as well.
What would you say your top takeaways from that conference were?
I mean, really, like we've already the role playing, the way they stood up, we already started doing that in Agent Excellence program with Tripp was there and did that with the agents. So, seeing that and just, seeing the agents in that, doing that and being okay with it was, something that we're going to implement more and more for sure. And then just the amount of energy in that room, the amount of energy that, Bill gave off with his presentations and everything else, just, something that I definitely want to focus on for sure.
What tip do you have, Preston, for somebody going to a conference? Maybe they came back from this conference. Maybe we're going to a conference in the future. What tip do you have for somebody coming back from a conference like that?
It's real easy to get overwhelmed. This one wasn't as much just because it was a lot on basics, on role playing, on scripts and dialogues and things like that. But the one thing I would say, I think a lot of people come back from these conferences and they try to do too much or they don't do anything. So it's either too much of everything or not enough or not anything. I think really the biggest tip for me is when you go to these conferences and say it's something that has a lot going on, take action on one thing, and build on that one thing. But with this one, I mean, take action, do the role playing, do the work. There's a ton of agents that aren't in this market, that left that conference and say, hey, I want to have a role playing group with agents in the outside market. So I think is biggest thing for me is just take action, take the steps necessary to grow and put in the work.
Yeah, point of any kind of training is take action. But I know even for us as a leadership team, we've gone to things like that together. And you always challenge all of us to tell you what's the one thing we're going to take action on when we get back. Right. And the point of that, the point of you doing that, at least I see it is that we're not trying to take action on 5 new things. Well, let's focus on one big thing you took away from that and make it worthwhile. I think that's pretty valuable.
Yeah, I mean, that's and that's what I see with conferences, right? Or even coaching. I've been coaching with John for 5 years. And I think one of the things that I do well is always take action in something, and you could see the people that have coached with somebody for a long time, where they are in their career, how their business has grown. And really what separates the ones that haven't grown from the ones that have grown is the ones that listen and take action. And it blows my mind, all the people that pay for coaching and pay for the work and pay for all those things, and they still continue to pay, but they don't take action. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing, no matter if it's coaching, a seminar or training or whatever, a conference, just make sure when you leave, you take action on something.
Yeah, I think some people want the comfort of saying they have a coach, but they really don't want somebody to tell them what they need to hear.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, right? Telling somebody having somebody tell you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear. It comes back to the whole accountability. I think not all people want that.
Yeah. Some coaches aren't going to necessarily tell you what you want to hear. A lot of times they might not do that because they want to keep a client and they don't want to upset you. And all of a sudden they don't have a coaching client anymore. So, that's something about John is special. I think he's going to call you out. He's going to hold you accountable, and he's going to ask you, what the heck are you doing? Probably a different phrase, but he's definitely good at that. And yeah, I mean, for me, just seeing Pipes, I mean, we hired him for 12-week coaching. We had the Sales Velocity 12-week on Zoom, but seeing him in his element, doing it live on stage, he's amazing. He's a unique. I mean, it's crazy how good he is. I mean, I can't even. You just need to go to Orlando is what I could say. Just go to Orlando, spend your money, bring your team, bring everybody you can. I think there's about 550 people at this event. I would be very surprised if it's not well over 1,000 people in Orlando.
I think it's pretty cool too. I mean, so that being said, is prior to me being with our company, a lot of my experiences with one brand going to conferences. And that's not bad. If you're at a big brand, you go to their conference every year, they're fun. The big brands, they usually do a good job. But it's nice to get to a conference and intermingle with people with the other brands, independent brokerages, and you start to see and hear more diverse things that are happening in the market, things that affect other types of companies. And I think that's what was pretty cool about that conference as well. You had people from all different kinds of brands in the industry.
And you got majority of them are producing, or they're in real estate at a high level. So
Right.
it's amazing being in a room with so many people that are performing at a high level. And it takes going to a conference a lot of times to see that, because you don't necessarily have companies for the most part in one market all performing at a high level. I mean, it doesn't exist, right? But what's great about going to those conferences is you're around some, the relationships you build, the friendships you build, and we had the mastermind the day before with at Cheplak's house. We went over there and there was about 40 of us. And at the end of the event, or end of the mastermind, they sent a card around, just kind of put your numbers in, your production numbers for last year. 40 people in that room was $9 billion in real estate production in 2021.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's a lot of real estate experience in the market that's happening right now
Yeah.
in one room. And hearing what's going on in other, I think the other thing to think about too, just getting away from like regionally, a lot of times things happen in the West Coast market before they happen in the East Coast market. So like being on the East Coast, and that's just for example, sometimes that happens. It gives you the ability to hear like, oh, okay, this is some of the challenges they're having now that we could potentially face 2 months from now.
Oh yeah, you see that not only in the market trends, but software. A lot of the software typically starts out in the West Coast, and
Right.
a lot of them. The more you're involved in those events and around those people, the more you could learn. I mean, we'll go back in Orlando for sure. If it's in Orlando, let's hope it is. But I mean, definitely we'll bring our team and bring as many people that want to go.
So he's announced dates for the next one, but not a specific location yet.
Tentative dates, but I don't think those aren't set in stone either. So there's still, I think John called Tim and said, "Hey, can you check on another?" While it was still going, right? So he saw the people and what was going on and what was happening. He was like, "Holy," and was like, "We gotta do this again this year." So got Tim on the horn right away and started working and trying to find a location. And I think their first choice was Orlando, second maybe Atlanta, but I think probably it will end up being Orlando.
Outstanding.
Which will be great for us because we won't. The part of the problem with this is flights right now are a disaster. If anybody's flown, I sat in an airport or on a plane for 2.5 hours. Some other agents that were going weren't able to go because their flights were delayed or canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
So for Orlando, we're just going to pack everybody in a bus.
Yeah, we're renting a bus as a company. Is that what you say?
Yep, rent a bus as a company, and then the agents will be responsible for the tickets in the room. But we have one of our agents here has a family member that has a hotel down there, or basically can get us discounts. So that's what we'll do.
Good stuff. So I got to ask this, Preston, with your advice and what you've asked me when I've come back from conferences. What's your one thing, man? What's your one thing you're taking action on coming back from Vegas?
Watching Bill on stage, man. I got to get on stage in Tahoe, so I need to put in some work because he's going to be on stage in Tahoe as well. And so that's the one thing I'm going to be working on between now and then, doing what I can to. I don't think I'll ever be 100% comfortable, but work on what I can to get better. When I do speak in Tahoe. And that's September.
And I think the cool thing about that's 100% why we started podcasting too, right? To help, like that was the some skills you wanted to sharpen.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, this, whether you're speaking on a podcast or speaking on a Zoom or, speaking in a sales meeting, I mean, a lot of people look for like the secret weapon of how to get better at it. And I think that's really one of the things that you're not going to get better unless you do it.
Right.
There's all these coaches and everything else for public speaking and how to do this and breathing techniques and all that other stuff. But I think it's probably one of the things that you're not going to get better at until you just do it.
There's not a whole lot. I always say you can't get good at doing push-ups unless you start doing push-ups.
Yeah.
You can't watch somebody do push-ups and magically be able to do 100 push-ups. Like you got to do the push-ups.
Yeah.
And this is you doing the push-ups.
Yeah.
These little things. I know in our sales meeting, you're doing a big portion of our sales meeting as a company next week. You kind of jump in and do more of the presenting when it's possible. That's you doing the push-ups, and in Tahoe, it's almost going to be time to do the 100 push-ups.
Yeah. It's going to be fun though. I'm as nervous as I am, I'm more excited for the opportunity and honored for the opportunity that was given. So it's definitely more exciting to me than there is fear.
I know we're excited to go out there. Our leadership team will be out there. Is it the last week of September, 25th, 26th? You said your wife's flying out as well?
She's coming as well. So we'll be there 25th, 26th, 27th. Probably gonna go a couple days early, put in some hiking and see how that goes.
All right. Well, Preston, it's good to have you back.
Yeah,
man.
man.
A solo episode. I missed my partner in crime, but glad you're back with us on the process.
Yeah, that one probably wasn't as good as the ones that I'm in, I know.
Oh, we got to update everybody on your running before we go too.
Oh gosh.
Preston, what's your you did a max run today. What was that?
Yeah, I did So you told me to see how far I could run in 75 minutes, and I
Yep.
did like 6.54. That 5.4 really matters. So I did, just over 6.5 miles.
Is that your new PR?
Well, that's my first time I've run 75 minutes. Yes, that
Yeah.
is my new PR as far as how long of a run and
Okay.
distance wise as well. I mean, I did the Fat Man Walk for the last part of it, so it ended up being about 7.5 miles, but I didn't count that last mile because I was walking.
We got to I think it's 12 weeks to our half marathon. Still got plenty of time to train, sir.
Yeah, I realized 210 is not a very good running weight, so I need to lose some pounds.
All right. Well, guys, we got an update on the running, update on the conference. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Noah, we still have a guest who's kind of slow and doesn't have a hat on, but he's okay.
Make sure to like that video and subscribe to see more videos coming up.
You guys to smash that like button.
You got to come back.
I like when you got to like hit the button and smash the like button.
Get your hands out of your pocket.
Smash that like to hit the subscribe button and smash that like button.